everyone. Kay Berkner here today with Dr. Tom Phelan, author and creator of 123 Magic and the author of The Manager Mom Epidemic. Dr. Phelan, welcome.
Good morning, Kay.
How are you doing today?
I'm doing pretty good. Another nice spring day.
I know. Hopefully spring sticks this time. The last time we thought it was spring, then it snowed. So we'll see.
We're going to Chicago.
So today we are going to be talking about one of the 3 parenting jobs that you outline in the book, bonding. Dr. Phelan, remind us what the 3 parenting jobs are that you talk about in 123 Magic.
Yeah, 3 parenting jobs are: number 1, dealing with obnoxious behavior, arguing, yelling, whining, fighting, teasing, and throwing the football in the house. The second one is encouraging positive behavior, such as going to bed, eating, staying in bed, doing your homework, and those kinds of things. And the third one is the bonding. It's a strengthening your relationship with the children.
So tell us what, we talk about this frequently, right? About these 3 different parenting jobs. What does a strong relationship with your kids look like at home?
I think the first thing, it feels like if people saw you together, they would see that you most of the time enjoy one another's company. And what you would feel inside yourself, and forget loving for a second. I think most parents love their kids, but what you feel inside yourself is liking. And people say, well, how do you define liking? And liking is, if this child walks in the room, you're by yourself, and this child walks in the room, how do you feel? Is it like, oh no, my free time's over? Or is it more like, I'm glad to see you? So the thing you look for with the liking is, what do you really feel in here in the presence of this other person? And that's no pretend, no faking. Be honest. What do you feel? Got it.
And I'm sure that sort of changes a little bit with the ages of the kids, certainly. How does parenting job number 3 play into the success that you can have with parenting jobs number 1 and 2?
They really are reciprocal. They play off one another. To do it from the front to the back first, and then we'll do the back to the front. If you can be good at parenting jobs number 1 and 2, and nobody's perfect, but you can get the kids to stop the whining, stop the arguing, and that kind of thing. And you can also deal with the routines that are required for positive behavior, routines for bedtime, for staying in bed, for eating, doing homework, and all that. If you do those things successfully, your kids are naturally cute and likable and lovable. So if you get that sort of obnoxious stuff out of the way, the good stuff comes through, and you will like them, you will love them more, you will enjoy their company, and so on. It's just a natural thing. So good at parenting job 1 and 2 automatically will cause a lot of bonding at 3. But the reverse is also true. If you have a good bond with the kids, that will strengthen your child discipline. So they say sometimes discipline without relationship is rebellion, and discipline with a good relationship is a good thing and a good, strong thing. So the more you feel that bond, the more kids like you and respect you, the more they're going to listen to what you have to say, and the more they're going to respond to your child discipline efforts.
Excellent. So in the book, you talk about 4 different kind of methods or strategies for bonding with your kids. Can you share what those 4 things are?
Yeah, one is sympathetic listening, other is shared fun, and then shared problem solving. And the 4th one is avoiding what I call overparenting.
Okay, so let's dive into each of those. I know that we've talked a little bit about sympathetic listening before. Can you tell us, elaborate a little bit on what that is and sort of the situations where you might want to use that?
Yeah, sympathetic listening is it's a nice thing to do, no matter who you are, no matter who you're with. I mean, if you're with your spouse or partner, if you're talking to a colleague at work, but what you're doing is you're sympathetically listening, but also active listening. Some people call this active listening. You're listening and you have 2 goals. One is to understand what the other person is saying. And the second goal is to let them know that you understand what they're saying. So if your child comes home from school and she says, my music teacher's an idiot, well, some people think, well, that's disrespectful. This is a discipline situation. No, it's not. It's time for the warm part of parenting. And what you would say would be what we call an opener in listening terminology. My music teacher's an idiot. My goodness, what happened? You sound really upset. So you're doing some reflecting feelings, doing an opener. And what you're saying to the child is, tell me more about it. And then as you go through the process of listening, you ask sympathetic, non-judgmental questions. Well, what happened next? Or how did you feel about that? And that kind of thing. And it's a wonderful thing. I mean, those of us who are mental health therapists, we better active listening. If a new patient comes in and starts telling us their problem, we better have our listening shoes on, because that's part of the job. So with parents, we often forget to do this in the hustle and bustle of everyday life, and we just chatter or correct or discipline when we shouldn't.
Gotcha. Yeah. And it's, especially as a parent, if you're running around doing 100 things at one time, it can be difficult to remember that sometimes we just need to pause and listen. So then the next thing you mentioned is one-on-one fun. Talk to us a little bit about one-on-one fun.
Yeah, this is my favorite. I really think this is the essence of a good relationship is shared fun. You think about it, how did you get hooked up with the person that you married or lived together, whatever, your spouse or partner? You did it because you had fun with that person. And the fun may have been shared dreams. It may have been a bottle of wine, may have been good food, it may have been good friends. There was a lot of different things, but that person was a core of your fun in a lot of ways. And that builds love and it builds relationships and so on. The sad thing about marriage is that shared fun often falls away in the course of raising kids and working and so on. And so we need to try and get it back. That's what date nights are all about. But with your kids, it can fall away too, because you wake up in the morning and you see this child as a series of problems that needs to be solved. Well, where's the fun in that? There isn't any. But kids are fun experts. And so, you want to have and the focus is one-on-one fun. Kids are good at having fun, one-on-one fun. Family fun, you've heard me criticize it before. I think it's overemphasized in this country. I think that the most critical fun to have is one parent, one child at one time enjoying the same thing.
Absolutely. And one thing that I'll say about one-on-one fun is that you can find ways to do it that are fun for you too, right? One-on-one fun does not necessarily mean I sit on the floor and play pretend stuffies with my kid. If that is fun for you, great, then you're having fun. But I have talked to many parents who say, I don't play, like I don't know how to play. That's not fun for me. It's not a good time. So one-on-one fun doesn't necessarily mean just doing the first thing that your kids suggest, but it does mean finding something that the two of you enjoy together, whether it is imaginative play or craft projects or going for ice cream or even just going on a walk, some sort of enjoyable shared experience.
I think so. And a lot of things that you do or you have to do, like shopping. Kids love shopping. How about cooking? Kids will love cooking. So that stuff starts from your end, and you may not like to do some of it, but you may do it. If it's one-on-one, it can be a lot more interesting and a lot more fun. And, as we get older, you lose the ability to see the world through a kid's eyes. So you're right. There's a whole smorgasbord of stuff, and you got to explore it and see what works best for you.
Yeah, terrific. Okay. So then that things like grocery shopping and cooking kind of leads into problem solving. Talk to us about how problem solving can help to strengthen your bond with your kids.
Yeah, our third thing is you're going to run into problems in the course of your kids growing up with you and just living with anybody. You run into problems on a regular basis. So we have two parts to this. One is family problem solving. That's sitting down as a family, doing a family meeting. That's what we used to do with our kids. We'd sit down and get everybody together. Everybody bring a problem to the meeting. We discuss their problem. We brainstorm it. We come up with a solution. We'd write it down. Here's the truth about family meetings. Family meetings are obnoxious and effective. So if you can get everybody to sit down through these things, you'll get something accomplished. But don't expect them to want to come back to the next one if they're not really entertaining. The other kind of problem solving is one-on-one. So it's kind of like when you're having one-on-one fun, or at another time, you may want to talk to your son about his grades in school, or about a friend of his, or about his relationship with his grandmother, or something like that. And that's a good time for active listening. So fun and active listening can help. So think of problem solving as family unit problem solving and one-on-one problem solving.
Great. And then the last thing that you mentioned is more of a don't than a do, but you said don't overparent. What does that mean?
Yeah, this one drives me crazy. Yeah, there's some parents are just, and I guess shouldn't be critical, but some people just have an anxiety button that it's over the top, and they worry about everything their kid's going to do. So the example I use in the DVD is the child going to a birthday party next door, and the mom says, "Now make sure when you get over there, you say hello to Mrs. Smith. Put your present in the pile. Don't talk too much. Don't eat too much cake." Do this. She comes over with 10 things that the mom is worried about, and at the end of it, the little girl doesn't want to go to the party. So it's real easy to do. We worry too much about kids, and then we nag or we let them know. But it leads to what I call the anxious parent, angry child syndrome. And you'll see this in a lot of relationships. The relationship between a parent and child is really dominated by this anxiety anger dynamic. So the parent's anxious, they say something, they irritate the child. The child's less likely to cooperate. And it's a real relationship killer. It's really makes for misery. And it can go on between adults as well as between a parent and a child.
So for that one, and I'm sure you'll get into this more when you do your seminar next week, but just very quickly, for parents who may be anxious, how can a parent who is overparenting sort of like set almost like a tripwire for themselves so that they know, oh, when I start doing this thing, I probably need to pause, take a breath, step back?
Yeah. Well, the first thing, this is an example of what they sometimes call mindfulness. And mindfulness is being aware of your mental and emotional states as they come up. And so if you say overparenting, it means a parent needs to be sort of on guard for themselves. And when am I feeling anxious? What makes me anxious? Am I more anxious in the morning and more likely to nag my kids? Am I more anxious when they go to school? And I give this litany of things for them to remember and all this. So we have to try and train parents, and parents have to train themselves for what does that feeling feel like? Where do I feel it? In my stomach, in my chest? What does it do to me? Do I start talking? How do my kids react when I say this stuff? It's really critical. A lot of parents will say this stuff with no thought of how the child's going to react, usually meaning they're going to be irritated and it's not going to do any good. It's going to make things worse. Why do you do that? I'm doing it now, aren't I?
That certainly felt like an anxious energy I was getting from you. Yeah. Okay, terrific. So 4 different methods or strategies that you can use of sympathetic listening, one-on-one fun, shared problem solving, and then not overparenting that will help you really strengthen your bond with your kids. And then that in turn will help make parenting jobs 1 and 2 a little bit easier, and it'll just make home a more enjoyable place to be. Thank you so much, Dr. Phelan. This was really great. Appreciate it.
Thanks, Kate.